Hey there, this is Jessica and welcome to my channel. Today we are making the brand new pattern by Cherishing Today Designs. It's called the Companion Backpack. It is so cute. I really love the little pockets on the side. The accent flap, you can make this with a flap or you can omit the flap if you would like. You can make this one panel if you want to. I love that the pockets have like these pleats on the side. I think that's really cute. And there is a zipper pocket on the back. So you've got the front magnetic flap here, a slip pocket, which is really cute. And then when you open the bag, you've got double zippers up here. And then you've got a slip pocket here. A lot of space. I don't know if you can see that. And then there is another zipper pocket in here. It's very roomy. There is a standard size, which is what I did in the video. And then you can also get the mini version, which I've seen. It's a lot smaller than this. I love that this can be a backpack, or you can add shoulder straps to it as a crossbody if you want to. It's totally up to you. Thank you so much to Cherishing Today Designs for allowing me to film a tutorial on your brand new pattern. It's really cute. I love it. It was really fun to make. There were mistakes made in this. So as I was filming this was under testing. So there may be updates to this. So just check out the pattern for any updates or any changes that I didn't mention in here. So yeah, I think it looks great for my first time making it. The only thing I need to do is I just need to rivet and sew down my backpack straps, and that's it. All right, guys, well, I'll go ahead and link the pattern down below in the description so you can grab yours today. And I hope you'll join me in this video, and I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel and consider giving this video a like. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so let's go ahead and go over our pattern pieces and also some other things you might notice in the pattern. There are two sizes. We have a mini version and then the standard, which is what I will be making. You also want to determine whether you're going to be using the front flap or if you're not going to do the front flap at all. On this version, I will be doing the front flap. In the pattern, if you are going to be using cotton woven for your material, you will want to use the alternate method for installing the zipper pockets. And then also you probably want to determine if you're going to use a shoulder strap or if you're going to use the backpack straps, or if you're going to use both. However you want to wear this bag, you'll want to determine what straps you would like to add on to this bag. And then also, I think it's really neat in the pattern, she says that it's really helpful to add the shoulder strap tabs and the rings because you can clip hand sanitizer. I don't think I've thought about that, so that's a great idea. You want to pay attention to the fabric you're using because some fabric does require interfacing, such as cotton. However, I'm using waterproof canvas, and then I'm using this pretty print from Fabric Therapy. It's called Theratex, and you don't have to interface any of these materials, which I really enjoy. I don't know about you, but I do not like to interface, so I try to avoid that as much as possible. So let's go ahead and discuss all of our pieces here. All right, we have our main pattern piece. This is pattern piece A, and you'll need one lining. However, if you're doing the non-flap version, you will need one lining and then one exterior of a solid print if that's what you choose to do. Pattern piece B, we've got, so again, the flap version, you'll want to make sure you pay attention to your pattern pieces and your instructions, because if you're doing it without the flap, it will be different. So again, I'm using the flap for mine, so I will be having two exterior. one for the front and then one for the back. And then if you're doing the one without the flap, there will be just one piece for the exterior back. And then we have pattern piece number C1. This is the back lower panel. You need to pay attention to the pattern piece. When you cut this out, you'll need one exterior. And then C2, this is your pocket front. Again, pay attention to the pattern piece. You'll need one exterior and then one lining piece. For the non-flap version, you just need one lining piece. And then for front slip pocket lining piece, this is pattern piece D. For this one, you'll need two of your lining pieces, and then for the non-flap version, there will be one piece. For pattern piece E, this is the exposed slip pocket lining. This is only for the flap version, so there's not one for the version without the flap. So keep that in mind. You won't have this piece if you are omitting that flap. And then we have the back slip pocket lining. This is pattern piece F. There is one lining piece. And then we have our side pockets, pattern piece G. There are two for the exterior and two for the lining. I'm using cork for that. And then we have our side pockets, pattern piece H. We have two for the exterior and then two for the lining. For the flap, there is one exterior and one lining. This is pattern piece J. For our zipper pockets, you're going to need in total 4 cuts of this. You've got the lining for the interior pocket and then the lining for the exterior pocket. So a total of 4 cuts for pattern piece K. All right, so this is all of our pattern pieces. Let's move on to all the other supplies and notions we'll be using. All right, so here we have our other materials and notions and supplies. I've got some double-sided tape. I've got 1/8 inch and 1/4 inch here, just in case. Of course, stiletto and seam ripper. I always need the seam ripper handy. And then I've got some rulers, some scissors, your marking tools. I like to use an air erasing marking tool and a chalk pencil. There are 3 zippers in total here, so the size is indicated in the pattern. And then I'm using number 5 zipper tape and number 5 zipper pulls. I have a heartwood and hide label that I'll be using on this. And then I'm going to be using this pretty magenta webbing. I got this from Zipper Valley. Some rectangle rings, and then your adjuster sliders, and then some triangle rings, and then you could use D-rings or rectangle rings for that if you'd like. A lighter used to singe your threads. And then I've got some magnetic snaps. We'll need 2 of those if you're using the flap version. I will be using the magnetic snap rivet, so I'll be also having to use a rivet press, and then your hole punch and clips, of course. And I don't think I missed anything else. Your thread, and I think that is everything. So let's go ahead and get to sewing. Just real quick about all of the strap pieces. There are instructions and measurements in the pattern if you want to use fabric instead of webbing, but I will be using webbing just because I love the color of this and it's a quick alternative to straps. The first thing we're going to work on is our tabs for the shoulder strap and then tabs for the backpack strap. Again, this is where you want to determine whether you want to use both of them or if you just want to use the backpack straps or just the shoulder strap. I will be doing both. So I haven't singed these edges yet, so go ahead and singe your webbing if that's what you're using. This prevents it from fraying with time. So I've got 2 pieces for the backpack straps. So your rectangle rings will be used for the backpack straps. I will go ahead and just clip this in place. Go ahead, I like to take this bar where there is this, I don't know what this is called, but the connector part. I like to have that go on the inside of my webbing like that so it's not showing, and if it's showing, it's not a big deal. All right, so let's go to the tabs for the shoulder strap and thread the webbing through the bar of the triangle rings. Match those ends and clip together. All right, let's go to the machine and we're gonna baste all raw edges of our strap tabs, okay? All right, so our tabs have now been basted together at the raw edges. The next thing we are gonna do is start working on the interior and exterior zipper pockets. You will need 2 of your zippers, and then you're gonna need zipper pockets pattern piece K. You'll need all 4 of them. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab 2 for now and set this to the side, and grab 1 zipper and set this to the side. Let me set 1 of these to the side. You wanna make sure to have your lining piece right side up. And then we'll go ahead and lay our zipper right side up as well, right on top of that edge. We'll go ahead and clip this together. You can center this if you would like. I'm just gonna kind of leave it just like this and then match up the side edges whenever I attach the other lining. So now we're going to go ahead and take this to the machine and we're going to sew this together at the seam allowance given in the pattern. Again, your lining piece should be right side up and your zipper is also right side up. Okay, so let's go to the machine and sew this down. So there we have the zipper attached to our lining piece. Now what we're going to do is take our other lining piece and lay this so it's right sides together. And I'm just going to take this and I'm going to lift this up. We're going to lay our zipper right side up, so the back of your zipper should be right on top of the right side of your lining. I'm going to bring this up to the edge and make sure that the edges of my linings match up. And I'm going to clip this top edge, and we are going to go to the machine and we're going to go ahead and stitch this down according to the seam allowance in the pattern. And we will go ahead and do the exact same thing with this lining piece. Okay, so it's done the exact same way. So your lining right side up and that zipper right side up. I'm going to go ahead and clip this and go to the machine and sew this down. So I'm going to go to the machine and sew this down, and then sew this piece together, and then go ahead and bring this lining piece together so that way we have 2 of our linings completed. And when they are together with the zipper, your lining pieces should be right sides together. Okay, so both of our zipper lining pockets are completed. However, I am going to do one additional step. I just think this helps a little bit more to keep the zipper laying flat here. So I'm going to go ahead and just stitch these down with it open. So I have my both lining pieces open right now and my zipper is face up, and I'm going to just kind of press this and I'm going to sew this down right along the edge of the zipper tape, so about 1/8 of an inch. Again, I just prefer it that way so that everything lays flat whenever we connect this to the lining piece. And I'll be doing that for both of them. Again, you do not have to do this It's just my preference. And then after that, I'll go ahead and attach my zipper pulls because you don't want to forget about adding the zipper pulls. All right, so here we go. It's nice and flat since I added that extra baste here. And I added my zipper pulls on here. All right, so now we can go ahead and set this to the side for just a moment. Now we're going to go ahead and work with the zipper pocket and one of our lining pieces. We'll need pattern piece A, the main lining piece. You'll need your prepared zipper pocket and make sure your zipper pull is attached. You're going to need a ruler for this step, double-sided tape. You can use glue if you prefer, a marking tool, a seam roller might be good here. And I think that's it for this step. So you're going to want to have your main lining piece wrong side up. There are measurements in the pattern for this window that you're going to create, the rectangle, the rectangle that you're going to create. What you want to do first is go ahead and find your center. I went ahead and marked a snip, or I cut a snip into the top here, and you're going to create this rectangle, okay? Like I said, the measurements are in the pattern. I'm going to go ahead and grab some really sharp scissors. And what we're going to do is we're going to start cutting into this zipper window. So I like to kind of fold this in half and take my sharp scissors and cut right on the line that we draw on the center. And what you're going to do is cut down the center until you get to the tip of the triangle, and then you're going to start cutting into that line at an angle to that corner, but don't go past that corner. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So this is what it will look like on that side. You have this triangle here. And now you have a hole, so go ahead and go on the other side and do the exact same thing you just did, very carefully. All right, so now we have our opening. And what we're going to do here is, since I'm using waterproof canvas, I'm just kind of folding right along that rectangle that we have here on all sides. And I'm going to take my double-sided tape and I'm going to go ahead and place it on all four edges. All right, there we go. I'm going to remove the paper from the first side and just start gently pressing down. You want to be careful because you don't want to accidentally make this wider than it needs to be. I'm just taking the seam roller and just pressing them, rolling them so that they are nice and crisp. Go ahead and grab one of your zipper pocket linings and your double-sided tape if you would like to use that. I know some people prefer glue. Go ahead and use whatever it is you prefer. I'm just taking double-sided tape, 1/8 inch wide, and just lining it up at the edge of my zipper tape, and I'm doing that on both sides. If your machine does not like double-sided tape, I do like to have sewer's aid at my sewing machine and an alcohol wipe, and I do use that to clean any gunk that does go on the needle from sewing on top of double-sided tape. So if that happens to you, it's a really good idea to have something, some kind of lubricant to clean off that needle as you go. So with this part, you want to make sure you have your zipper going the right direction. I prefer my zipper to close when pulled to the left and then open when pulled to the right, okay? So this is the top up here with these little, I don't know what this is, wings or something. I'll just call them wings. I'm gonna place this right on top like this. And you wanna get it as straight as you can. And when you're happy with it, you can go ahead and start moving the paper off of your tape. I'll go ahead and remove the paper off the tape on the bottom. So I've got this lining wide open, okay? So we should be looking at the top of our zipper and then the back side of our lining. And then when we place our main lining piece on top of this, we should be looking at right side of our lining, okay? Make sure you get it as straight as possible. Pull in, pull that zipper out. And now that this looks pretty good, I'll go ahead and just finger press down onto that zipper tape. And now I'll go ahead and take the top and fold it down and remove the paper from the double-sided tape. And I will bring this up. And as soon as I'm happy with it, I'll start finger pressing this down. There we go, that looks pretty good. All right, now remember, your lining pieces should be open, okay? Just like so. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the machine and we're gonna top stitch all around this rectangle, and you wanna be careful not to hit this zipper pull. Keep that out of the way as you go. And let's go ahead and stitch this down that full rectangle, okay? All right, so our zipper has been sewn on to our main lining piece, our zipper pocket. This looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and place it so it's wrong sides down, or right side down, excuse me, and we're looking at the wrong side. I'm gonna go ahead and fold and finger press this top edge here. Your edges should match up, and if they don't, that's okay. What we're gonna do here is grab some sharp scissors, and we're going to trim off the excess here. They should be the same length right now. I'm gonna go ahead and set these to the side for a moment. I'm gonna grab a ruler, and I'm gonna grab my marking tool. And there is a measurement in the pattern that you will be using to make a mark on the bottom edge of your lining, your pocket lining. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and make my measurement down from this bottom raw edge. All right, so I have made my mark. I am now gonna grab some double-sided tape, and I'm gonna place it along the raw edge of my lining pocket. All right, so now we have our mark here at the bottom of our zipper pocket. Go ahead and remove the tape that's at this raw edge. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold this up to meet that line that we just made. All right, so here we have one side of our zipper pocket folded, and now what we're gonna do is we're going to flip this so this is now right side up. Pull the bottom up and cover up your zipper. We're gonna do the same thing on this side. You'll make your measurement and place your double-sided tape down at that bottom edge. All right, so there we go. Both of our edges of our zipper pocket are now folded into place, okay? And they're folded to the wrong side of your material, okay? These should match up. If it's not matching up, it will be fine. Now what we're gonna do is I'm going to flip this over. I'm gonna clip my sides here. I'm gonna go to the machine, and we are going to sew each side at the seam allowance given at the pattern. We will be leaving this open because we're going to turn the whole bag through this pocket, so don't close that up. And at the end here, you want to kind of sew at an angle here, okay? This will help everything lay very flat and nicely when we close this pocket up. So down at an angle at the bottom of both sides. Okay, so let's go to the machine and sew this up. All right, so now the lining with the zipper pocket is complete. Down at the bottom, I sewed little angles here. What I'm gonna do now is just trim down some of this bulk down at the bottom. All right, and now the lining with the zipper pocket is complete for now, so we'll go ahead and set this to the side. Now we will be doing the lining with the slip pocket, so you'll need pattern piece C2. We'll need the front slip pocket lining, pattern piece D, and then the back slip pocket lining, pattern piece F, okay? Okay, so now we're gonna lay slip pocket front C2 right side up. And then we're gonna take the front slip pocket lining D and lay this so they are right sides together. So this should be wrong side up right now. We're going to clip the top edges together, and we'll go to the machine, and we're going to sew the top edges together at the seam allowance given in the pattern. All right, now that we have our slip pocket front C2 and our front slip pocket lining pattern piece D sewn together at that top edge, we are going to place these so they are now wrong sides together. I'm just going to kind of roll the seams since I'm using a waterproof canvas. If you're using cotton, you can use an iron here if you'd like. All right, so let's go to the machine and top stitch that top edge. Now you'll take pattern piece F. We're going to lay the back slip pocket lining right side up. Okay, I'm going to try my best to explain this as best as I can. I'm going to take the slip pocket that we just did, and I'm going to take the square, the top here, and fold it up out of the way, okay? I'm going to take this piece and place it right sides down on top of pattern piece F. We are going to line up these edges here at the angled wings, okay? So go ahead and line up those angles there. And these should be right sides together. And we are going to clip in place just at the angled, just right here at the top of our seam. We don't want to go up here on this other pattern piece here. This is creating our slip pocket, okay? So lift this up and out of the way. Don't worry about this at all. We're going to clip this down together on the other side as well. There we go, and clip all of your edges here. Okay, all 3 edges are now clipped. We are going to go to the sewing machine, and we are going to sew the perimeter of the front and back slip pocket linings, pattern piece D and F, with the seam allowance given in the pattern. So we are only going from the top right here down the angles and around the perimeter here. We're not going above this this pocket here, this exterior lining piece. So don't sew above this, okay? I hope that is not confusing. Only the bottom perimeter. All right, so now we have our slip pocket installed here. So this is what it looks like on the back side. We started stitching right at the top of those angles right there, and then we went down at an angle, and then all around the perimeter, okay? So that's what we have now. This is going to be our lining with the slip pocket. We are done for this right now. We'll go ahead and set this to the side. I forgot to mention, if you would like to add rivets to this top piece here where those angles are, right here, you can do that if you would like. I am not going to do that. I'm going to leave it alone. I think it looks pretty good, but it's totally up to you if you want to add rivets. All right, so the next thing we're working on is the exterior front panel. You're going to need pattern pieces J, exterior flap, and the interior flap. And then pattern piece E, the exposed slip pocket lining. Okay. You'll need your front slip pocket lining, pattern piece D. Your upper front panel, pattern piece B. And then the slip pocket front C2. I marked the top on this pattern piece just so I make sure that I have the right side for the pattern. And then you'll need your 2 magnetic snaps. You will need your pattern piece to mark where those magnetic snaps go. I will not be showing that on camera, so I will be doing the magnetic snaps and the measurements off camera for that. If you are doing the magnetic snaps that have the prongs, there are instructions in the pattern for you to follow if you would like to install those with the pattern. Okay, I wanted to come back on camera and just talk about something real quick. We are only installing our male magnetic snaps on the lining piece of our flap. Since I am using the rivet magnetic snaps, I have these little pieces that are like washers. I got them from Carolina Little Stitches, and I'm going to be using these instead of using any fleece or any stabilizer here. I'm going to place this so that the male magnetic snap is on the right side. And I'm going to take this washer and place it in here and take the rivet and snap it into place. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. I will try to remember to place the link for these in the description below. All right, so I'm going to go ahead to the rivet press here and get these pressed down. If you do want to add a label on the exterior flap, you can do that before you move on. I will not be doing that. All right, so on the lining of my flap, my male magnetic snaps have been installed, and then I've got the rivets back here with those washers in between to give it some structure and stability so that these do not wear with time. Now we'll go ahead and take our lining and exterior and place them so they're right sides together. Go ahead and clip around all 3 edges. We will not be sewing on this top straight edge. We'll only be sewing along all 3 sides. All right, so let's go to the machine and sew all 3 sides at the same allowance given in the pattern. All right, so our flap has been sewn together, right sides together, and that straight edge should be left open because we're going to turn this over. Go ahead and trim down your seam allowance. I'm using pinking shears here. I think cutting with pinking shears, or taking some scissors and cutting little snips in here will help your seams lay flat. You don't want to accidentally cut your stitching. You'll have to go back and fix that if you do. We're going to go ahead and turn the flap so it's right side out. Be very careful here. Right, so I can see my stitches are coming through. I'm going to go ahead and sew another row of stitching on the inside of my stitches. This prevents the pressure from that first row of stitches from coming through on the exterior. All right, that is better. So I am going to go ahead and top stitch all 3 edges. So we'll end up closing this once we attach this to another pattern piece, okay? Let's go get this top stitched. The flap is now completed. This looks really good. we're going to go ahead and keep this out because we're going to work on attaching the flap to some pieces here. We are going to bring up this is the exposed slip pocket lining. I did mine the same as the exterior just because it will be visible, and I think this print's really pretty, so I wanted to keep it on the interior of the exposed slip pocket lining. All right, this is our upper panel. We'll be using that as well. So if you need to, go ahead and mark the centers of your exposed slip pocket lining and then of your flap. And we are going to lay this so that it is right side up and your lining is right side up. And just find your center and go ahead and clip the top. All right, so let's go to the machine and get this basted. All right, so the flap has now been basted onto our exposed slip pocket lining. So we're gonna go ahead and take the upper panel, pattern piece B. We are going to place it right sides together, right side down here, match up on the ends, and go ahead and clip that together. And then we're gonna go ahead and sew this down at the seam allowance given in the pattern. All right, so our upper panel has now been sewn onto the flap and also your exposed lining. So we're gonna go ahead and pull your upper panel away from the flap and your lining. Your seam will be behind your upper panel, and we're gonna go ahead and top stitch right along this edge here. All right, so our top stitching is all done. This looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and set this to the side for a moment, and we're gonna go ahead and bring out our slip pocket front, which is pattern piece C2, and we're gonna go ahead and grab your pattern piece and go ahead and mark your the little marks for your female magnetic snaps. I went ahead and did that already, and I have the top marked here just to help me determine that I have it correctly. And then you want to go ahead and also grab your I think this is the front slip pocket lining. Yes, the front slip pocket lining. I'm going to go ahead and flip this back over. We will do our magnetic snaps in another step, so just make your marks. So we're going to go ahead and lay this so that your slip pocket front pattern piece C2 is lying right side up, and then you're going to go ahead and grab your slip pocket front, not your slip pocket front, but the slip pocket lining. We're going to lay it right sides down. This should match up pretty perfectly. We're going to go ahead and clip the top edge and sew this at the seam allowance given in the pattern. All right, they have been sewn together, so now what we're going to do is place them wrong sides together. If you're using cotton here, you can iron if you'd like, but I'm just going to roll the seams. Now we will go to the machine and we're going to top stitch that top edge. Okay, so we're all done with these right now. We're going to go ahead and install the female end magnetic snaps on here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. And if you're using the magnetic snaps with the prongs, make sure you follow along in the instructions. And then we'll go ahead and put this together. Before you install your magnetic snaps, you want to make sure that everything lines up perfectly here. I did check that beforehand, and it matches up pretty good here. Now that these pieces are connected, I'm going to go ahead and flip this so it's wrong side up. Your lining pockets here, they should match up. If it's a little off, it's okay, not a big deal. I'm going to go ahead and clip right here on these winged edges here. Don't clip the exterior piece. We're going to go ahead and clip right here and then clip all around this pocket. We'll have to trim this down. All right, so I trimmed off the excess here so that they are the same size. This is all clipped together. Now what we're going to do is go to the machine and we're going to sew down on these winged parts of the lining. And then we're going to go down the angle and come all the way around the exterior. Okay, so we're not going to go past the seam up here. You don't want to go past the seam. We're just going to start here at the seam, just below the seam, and work our way around the perimeter. All right, so this is now sewn together in the back. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to baste just these angled edges here on both sides. All right, so this is complete. This is now the exterior front panel. We can go ahead and set this to the side and start working on the exterior back panel. This is really, really cute. All right, so we're gonna start working on the exterior back panel. You will need your upper back panel, which is pattern piece B. You'll need your back lower panel, C1. You'll need that prepared zipper pocket that we did earlier. You'll need your zipper pull. Don't forget to do that. I went ahead and I attached mine. And then you'll need both of your prepared backpack strap tabs. Actually, I think it might, not these. Sorry, you'll need the ones with the rectangle rings. I'll put these aside for now. And you'll need your backpack straps and then your strap handle. All right, for now, I'm gonna go ahead and set everything to the side. This is just what you're gonna need for the next few steps. We're gonna start working on the pocket. So I'm gonna go ahead and have this out, and then the lower back panel, which is C1. We're going to be doing the exact same step that we did previously to make that zipper window. Again, if you're using cotton, you'll want to go ahead and do the alternate zipper method. But I'm going to go ahead and place this so that it's wrong side up, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab the measurements for creating the zipper window. And I'll do that off camera just because I don't want to give any measurements out. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started creating that zipper window. Okay, so before you make your box, you want to make sure to find the center of the top. And again, there are measurements in the pattern on where to place this rectangle, and the measurements in the pattern on the dimensions of your zipper window. So I've created that. I have double-sided tape along the edges of the rectangle, and I'm going to go ahead and grab some sharp scissors, fold this in half, and we're going to cut in the center right along that line, just like we did before. All right, we'll cut along the line until we go to the tip of the triangle. All right, so we have our opening now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove the paper from the double-sided tape, and I'm going to start taking this side and folding it over. By the way, if you're interested in something like this seam roller, it has the Wizardry Stitchery. I hope you can see that. The Wizardry Stitchery, your favorite thread in there. I don't know how to pronounce this purple one. It's UBE, and I just love it with the rainbow. It's heavy duty, and it's got some glitter in here. It's from this company, Dead Oak Crafts. Not sure you can see that, but it's pretty awesome. They sell pens and lighters and things like that as well. I will try to remember to post a link down below. All right, let's go ahead and grab our completed zipper pocket, and again, make sure that you have the zipper going in the direction that you prefer. Let me just double check and make sure I have it correct, because I'm kind of doing this upside down. So yeah, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and grab some double-sided tape, and I'm going to line it up on the edge of the zipper on both sides. All right, I'm going to take this, and I'm going to leave the zipper open, just like we did before. It's going to be wide open. This should be wrong side and right side down, okay? Your zipper should be facing up. And again, don't forget to add that zipper pull. Make sure you line this up and catch all sides of your lining here. Mine looks pretty good. Center it as best as you can. I'm going to remove the paper. You don't want to stretch it out. You want it as straight as possible in the center. There we go, that looks pretty good. All right, I'm just finger pressing this down to get it to stick. And now we'll go ahead and flip the top and remove the paper. Okay, so let's lay that down as straight as possible. There we go. That looks good. All right, when you get it to wherever you want it, we are going to go ahead and sew this box, and again, make sure everything is open. So your zipper pocket should be open right now. Okay, so we'll go ahead and sew around the box. Make sure you move that zipper pull out of the way. All right, so that is sewn on. That looks really good. We're going to go ahead and flip this so that it's wrong side up, and I'm gonna go ahead and just fold right here where I have sewn. Especially since this is waterproof canvas, it will fold nicely. We're gonna close this pocket, but first I'm gonna go ahead and trim the excess to make sure that these are now the same size. Right, there we go. So now we're gonna go ahead and clip around all 3 edges, and we're gonna close up this pocket. This would be a cute place to add a woven label in here if you would like. So I'm going to go ahead to the machine and sew with this face up, and I will close this. I'll move this out of the way and sew around the perimeter of our zipper pockets and go ahead and close that up. All right, so this pocket is now completed. I love it. Okay, so I clearly skipped a step. I should have made marks up at the top on this pattern piece so that we know where to place the strap and also the shoulder straps. So I'm going to go ahead and get the measurements and mark those on the top. I missed that, I apologize, but I'm going to go ahead and grab those measurements so we can go ahead and attach all this webbing. All right, so I've got the measurements for the strap handle. You probably cannot see them. I have chalk marks right here, it's very light. So we're gonna take the strap and we're gonna keep it straight and just fold it, okay, like this. I'm gonna flip this around. No, I'm not, sorry, it's upside down for me. I'm going to line this up so that the raw edge is just on the outside of the marks I made. And I'm going to slide this. We want to have it overhanging by about a ½ inch or so. So I'm going to go ahead and do one side at a time and clip this down. And you want it to come down on the right side of your material, okay? So again, we don't want this to be twisted. You want it to be straight, and turn it to meet that other mark, about a ½ inch overhang. I'm just kind of eyeballing that. You can grab a measurement. You can grab a ruler and check the measurement accurately if you would like, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and go to the machine and just baste this down, and then I'll go ahead and attach the straps. You could do it at the same time, but I just want to make sure that I have these down before I add the shoulder straps or the backpack straps. All right, so I'm going to go baste this real quick. All right, so this has now been basted on. Go ahead and grab your shoulder straps. Not your shoulder, I keep calling these shoulder straps. Backpack straps. All right, I'm just going to place this right against the other webbing here, okay? Not on top of it, but just right against it, and you want it to overhang the same amount as the other, as your, as the handle. I'm gonna go ahead and clip that together. All right, and then we're gonna do the same thing with the other one. Don't worry about all this right now. I am going to clip it together. Just keep it out of the way for now. All right, let's go to the machine and baste those down. Okay, so we have the straps and the handle basted down. Now we're going to go ahead and grab the upper panel pattern piece B, and we are going to place this down so they are right sides down. So you want to make sure that these little wings here are facing down. This should match up pretty perfectly. We will go ahead and clip the top here, and we're going to sew this down at the seam allowance given in the pattern. Nothing should be twisted, and these should not be over here at all. They should all be facing the bottom of the exterior. All right, so let's go to the machine and sew this down at the seam allowance given in the pattern. All right, so that is sewn on now. You're gonna grab your scissors, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna come over here at the seam and just trim off at an angle here. This is gonna reduce some bulk here. Don't cut your stitches. Whoops. All right, now that we have trimmed off these corners of the seam allowance to reduce bulk, we are going to flip this away from the bottom, but we're going to, I'm going to bring these back because we are going to flip the seam to be behind the bottom, and then we're going to top stitch right here along this edge. Okay, so everything should be up and out of the way when you sew this down. So let's go to the machine and top stitch this right along this edge. And again, your seam and the webbing pieces should be underneath this back panel on the bottom. Okay, it shouldn't be up at the top. Okay, so this has been top stitched. You can place rivets here if you would like to. I will not be doing that. So now we're gonna go ahead and grab the tabs for backpacks, and what we're gonna do is you're gonna make measurements on your strap tabs here, and then you're gonna have measurements on each side down at the bottom. So go ahead and check that out on the pattern. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay our tabs right on top here at the edge, and you're gonna pay attention to the marks you made because this will be coming at an angle, okay? But what we need to do is have it coming this way. Make sure you have everything lining up. You cannot see my marks probably. It's chalk. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a clip and just clip that down. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. You wanna make sure that your rings are going inward and facing up towards the top, and on the inside of your material here. I'm gonna turn this around this way and match up those measurements down at the bottom. Oh, I have to turn it this way. All right, I'm going to grab a clip and clip that down. I have this all wrong. I need to move it up. My goodness. Okay. Make sure that your tabs are above the measurement you marked. It shouldn't be below. Clip that down. And what we're going to, whoops, messed it up already. I'm going to use a different clip here. We're going to go to the machine and baste this down. I'll have to fix this at the machine. This is not working out because the two materials together, rubbing together, are kind of slippery. All right, so I'm gonna go to the machine and I'm going to baste these down. Okay, so I went ahead and basted these down. Okay, so I went ahead and basted the backpack strap tabs down, and I also went ahead and added the rivets. When you add the rivets, you want to make sure that you get it as close as possible to this bar at the bottom. That way this is out of the seam allowance, okay? Sorry, I forgot to film that part, but that looks pretty good. So now I think what we're going to do is open up that zipper. We're going to slide all of our straps in there as much as possible, just to keep this out of the way as we are sewing. All right, so now we have completed the exterior back panel. We are going to go ahead and set this to the side. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and get out our side panels, the lining and exterior, pattern piece G, along with the side pockets, pattern piece H, our exterior, and our lining. All right, set those to the side. These are your exterior side panels. So we're just going to set that aside for a moment and go ahead and grab these. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to place these so they are right sides together. All right. We're going to clip those top edges on both panels. We will sew the top edge at the seam allowance that's given in the pattern. All right, let's go to the machine and sew the top edges at the seam allowance given in the pattern. All right, those have been sewn together, so go ahead and place these so they are wrong sides together. I will clip the top edge. Make sure everything lines up. All right, that looks pretty good. I'm just rolling the seams up here. All right, and then we're going to go to the machine and we'll top stitch both of these at the top edge. Actually, I forgot something. You want to go ahead and trim off right here at an angle on both sides to reduce the bulk here, and do that on both of them. Be careful not to cut any of your stitching. There we go. All right, let's try that again. Now we'll put these wrong sides together. And you want to make sure that your edges, everything is matching up. We'll end up basting them together. But right now we will worry about top stitching the top edge. All right, let's go to the machine and top stitch this top edge. All right, so that has been top stitch on both of our side pockets. We are going to go ahead and start clipping around the perimeter of both of these. And we're going to go ahead and baste all of our edges together. Everything should be matching up at this point. If it's not, that's okay. We can always trim down anything that we need to trim down. All right, let's go to the machine and get these basted. Okay, so all of our sides have been basted on pattern pieces H, your pockets, okay, your side pockets. In the pattern, there are measurements for the bottom. So the first thing you want to do is find the center of the bottom. Okay, I've already cut little snips in the bottom of both of my side pockets. There are two measurements. I don't know if you can see this. I had to use a vinyl marking tool within the seam allowance just so I can see them because this is dark. So there are two measurements on each side of your center mark. So make sure that you pay attention to that. I will not be giving that out. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna try my best to get as close as possible. The first measurement on the either side of your center mark, we are going to just give it a pinch, okay? And then we're gonna bring the pinch over to meet the second mark that we made. Okay, and then go ahead and clip it together. So it'll look like, that might be really hard to see because of my material, but there's a pleat here, okay, or a dart, whatever you want to call that, but I'm going to call that a pleat. So again, I'm going to go to this first mark that we made on the other side of our center, and I'm just going to give that mark a slight, just a pinch, okay, and bring it over to meet the other mark that we made. Your fold should be going towards the side of your pocket, okay? Grab a clip and clip that together, okay? So this is going to cause like a puckering effect for your pocket. So you can probably see it a lot better on this side that we have some pleats going on, okay? So we're going to do that same thing on the other pocket. All right, I'll show you again here. We've got the center mark here. I'm going to go over to that first mark that we made and give it a pinch, okay? And then we're going to go over, fold it to meet the other mark that we made and clip that together. All right, now you're going to go to the first mark on the other side of your center and give that a pinch right on that line. Fold it over to meet the other mark that you made. Clip that together like so. All right, so we are going to go to the sewing machine and we're going to baste down the folds on both of our pockets. All right, so those little pleats have been basted down. You're going to go ahead and grab your exterior pattern pieces for the side, which is pattern piece G. Now we're going to take these and we're going to line up our edges and the bottom. So go ahead and clip all of this together. So you're going to place your panels right side up and then place these so that the lining piece is against the exterior. And go ahead and clip all of your edges together. You want this to be out like this because they're pockets, okay? So when you're clipping them together, it will have this effect on it, okay? So don't worry about that. It is meant to be that way. All right, so everything is clipped together for the side panels. We are going to go ahead and baste all three edges on both of our panels. We're not going to obviously cover this top. That's going to be our pocket, but we'll go ahead and get all three sides on both basted together. Our pockets are completed. We are going to go ahead and set these to the side and start doing final construction. Now it's time for final construction. So we are going to go ahead and grab our main exterior panel with the flap. And if you don't have the flap, if you decided to omit the flap, you would just have your front panel and then your long zipper. We are going to take our zipper and lay it so it's right side down, so right side together. I have my zipper a little longer than it needs to be. I do that on purpose. All right, so clip along that top edge, and then we will go to the machine and we will sew this together at the seam allowance given in the pattern. All right, so the zipper is now installed on our front main panel. What we need to do now is go ahead and grab your lining piece, the one that has a zipper. We're going to turn it so that it is wrong side up. You're going to make measurements over here on both sides according to the pattern. So I've already done that. So now I'm going to take my exterior front and lay it right side up. And then I'm going to take my lining and lay it right side down. So they should be right sides together right now. And then we're going to match up our centers. And we are going to clip the top edge. And then we're going to sew from this line that we created over to the next line that we created. We are not going to sew past the lines that we've made, okay? So only sewing in between the lines that we've made. So let's go to the machine and sew that down. All right, so these have been sewn together. We are now going to flip this over so that we're looking at the right side of our exterior, and you're going to come over here at the bottom, not the bottom, but the top, excuse me, at the top here, and you're going to make a measurement on both sides. And then I've already done that, so I'm going to go ahead and pull these so that they are wrong sides together. All right, so we're going to go and top stitch this top edge here along the zipper. We're going to keep our top stitching from one mark to the other mark. We will not be going past those marks, so just make sure you have the marks here so you don't go past them. So go ahead to your machine and top stitch between your marks. All right, so this has been top stitched. Now they should be wrong sides together, and then we have the other side with our zipper pocket. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and lay this so it's right side together. We're going to go ahead and grab our other pieces, which is the exterior and then your lining piece with your slip pocket. I'm going to start with this first. I am going to lay this down. Get everything out of the way here. We don't want to accidentally sew over any of this. I think I'm going to try to clip all of this together. Maybe that will work out. We want these to be right sides together. So what we're going to need to do is place our exterior and the lining, not the exterior, place the exterior top along the edge of that zipper. Make sure everything lines up and it's centered accurately. And go ahead and clip that top edge, and then we are going to do the same thing that we did when we attached the zipper to the other side. So we'll get this sewn on, and then we'll put the lining on, and we'll make the measurement on the side just like we did before. We still need to attach zipper pulls, but we will do that shortly. All right, that looks pretty good. So let's go to the machine and sew this together. All right, so that was sewn together. That looks good. All right, I'm gonna turn this so that I'm looking at my lining piece, and you can do this however is easiest for you. It's just so bulky because of all of our straps and everything. What we're gonna do now is lay this right sides together. Now remember, you need to make your marks here on the side of these wings. And remember, when we sew this on, we're only sewing from that line to the other line. We're not going to sew past those lines, okay? So let's go ahead and lay this so it is right sides together, lining everything up. We'll clip that top edge and we will sew from line to line. All right, so that is sewn together. Now we're going to come over to our front. That's not our front. All right, now that is sewn together, so you're going to come over to the back panel and you're going to make those marks again at the top, because we're only going to top stitch from mark to mark, okay? So go ahead and do your marks, and then we'll go ahead and top stitch this down. Alrighty, so we've got our double zippers on here. We've got both of these sides of the zipper top stitched. What we're going to do now is we're going to take these lining pieces. This is very important in the pattern, and we're going to fold them away from the zipper. Do the same thing on the other side. Just get them out of the way. We're not sewing these down. So it should look like this. Your lining should be, whoops, folded away from your exterior and your zipper on both sides. Now you can go ahead and grab your shoulder strap tabs. And I'm going to go ahead and trim my zipper to be the same length as my exterior real quick so I can place these on accurately. Well, I probably shouldn't have done that, trim my zipper down. That was me not following directions, so don't do what I just did here. I'm going to go ahead and place my shoulder tabs right along this edge, trying to center it as best as I can. Make sure that it is on the right side of your exterior and that the triangle ring is facing inwards on both sides. It will be all right. Be all right. Okay, so let's go to the machine and carefully baste down these shoulder tabs. Okay, so our shoulder strap tabs have been basted down. You're going to go ahead and grab your exterior pocket panels. And we are going to take this one side and lay it so that it is right sides down. You're going to find the center. Mine seems to be a little bit bigger, but that is all right. Just do your best. Best you can. We can trim anything down if we need to. There we go. So we're going to be sewing this down at the seam allowance given the pattern, and just make sure that that lining is not included when you sew this down. It needs to be out of that seam allowance there. So go ahead and do it on the other side as well. Center that, which this one is a little off as well. That's fine. Don't worry about that too much if yours is off too. It's not a big deal. There's a nice size seam allowance for any errors, so that's awesome. All right, so let's go to the machine and sew this together at the seam allowance given in the pattern. All right, you might need a hump jumper to get over the webbing. I needed to use it. And also make sure when you're sewing this that your hardware is out of the way, that you don't accidentally hit that. That could be really bad. All right, so we are going to go ahead and trim the corners of our seam allowance at an angle, just like we've been doing. Okay, so yeah, back to doing this. We are going to top stitch this. So you want the seam allowance to be behind the exterior side panels. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and top stitch along the top edge of both exterior side panels. And make sure you do not catch the lining. Make sure it's still out of the way. All right, so let's go ahead to the machine and top stitch this and make sure your seams are behind your exterior pockets. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and turn this over now onto the lining side. I'm going to move these clips. This is now where we're going to attach our lining panels here, the side panels. So we're laying this right side up, and then we're going to align and center the top edge of both. This will be right sides together. We are not including the zipper, so there's going to be a little bit of a gap here. So don't worry about that. I'm just going to clip this edge over here, and then this edge over here, and probably the side as well to keep everything straight. All right, so we're going to do it on the other side. Right sides together and line up. I've got one longer than the other, it's okay. Yeah, just a smidge. That's okay though. I'm just going to line it up on the shorter side. It's just off about maybe 1/8 of an inch, maybe even a little bit less. So we're going to take this to the machine and we're going to sew this together at the seam allowance given in the pattern, and we are not including the zipper. So you'll want to sew this so that it is down. And I'll just sew, start here and stop here, and then do the same thing. So I'll start, end, and then start and end on both sides. So let's go ahead and get those sides sewn down. Okay, now what we're gonna do, I'm trying to figure out what is the easiest. So maybe placing it so it's exterior. Yeah, that might be it. Maybe not. Yeah, I think so. This is going to be a little challenging, I think, because we want to fold this. Let me smooth this over a little bit. We want to take our linings and take them out and put the seam behind this lining piece. Okay, so let's put the exterior away. We're going to fold this, and then we're going to top stitch along these edges here, only on the lining. We're not including the exterior at all, so it needs to be out of the way. So, however, it's going to be easier for you, and because it's in the lining, it's not a big deal. So if you want to turn it over this way and top stitch, that will be okay too. I think that's probably what I'm going to do, because the zipper and your exterior needs to be out of the way. So we need to top stitch this. Okay, so whatever way is easiest for you. So let's go top stitch these exterior side panels, not exterior side panels, our lining side panels down. All right, so the lining side pockets have been top stitched on both sides. We're going to go ahead and turn this around. If you have not trimmed and singed your zipper tape, now would be a good time to go and do that with your pockets. And then also what we're going to do after you've done that is we're going to place our lining right sides together and our exterior right sides together. So we're going to go ahead and clip the bottom edges of both lining panels and exterior panels, and then we're going to go to the machine and we are going to stitch the we're going to stitch both bottoms at the seam allowance that's given in the pattern. We're going to leave these hanging on the side. Don't mess with those right now. All right, so let's go to the machine and sew the bottoms. All right, so the bottom of both panels have been sewn together. It's kind of, there's a lot happening here. Make sure that your zipper, make sure your zippers are kind of halfway open. We don't want to close anything up and not be able to turn this through. Everything is in the center. We also don't want to hit any of those zipper pulls, so make sure they're out of the way. Now what we're going to do is we're going to keep our lining. Okay, we're going to take our lining here, the side pocket of the lining, and what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start lining up my side panel with the main lining, and I'm going to come to, I don't know if you can see this, but right here where the wing starts, I'm just going to put this together by pinching it together, and I'm going to start clipping right along that. Okay, so go ahead and line up the edges of your lining panel with the edge of the side pocket. All right, and go ahead and start clipping all the way down to the bottom. In the pattern, it states to grab some scissors, and you can make a small snip right along right into this indentation, I'm just going to make a super tiny snip into that. Okay. I don't know if you can see this, but right here we have this indentation here. Yeah, I'm going to take my shears and just put a tiny snip into the corner of that. Okay, this is going to help everything later on. And you want to do that on the other side. It's probably best to do that before you start clipping. I always do things out of order. All right, so now we go ahead and clip the other side of this one, and I start at the top and get that top edge together. There we go. And clip along. All right, so that side is clipped. I'm gonna add a couple more clips here. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the other side and we're gonna do the same thing, okay? Okay, so my sides are clipped together. I do want to make note that when you are on the side where you have the slip pocket right here, you want to make sure that your seam is down flat. You don't want this to be up like this, because your pocket, you want it to be down. You probably would feel this if this was up. So make sure it's down with the clips. I hope you can see what I'm talking about, but you don't want the slip pocket to be up, okay? You want it to be down. So let's go ahead and sew each side down at the seam allowance given in the pattern. So maybe I misunderstood a little bit, but for the indentations, I guess what we really are supposed to do is cut a snip right before the indentation, a little snip, okay? I don't know if you can see this, but make a little snip right here and don't sew past this little snip, okay? So that's my error. So make sure you do that on all of your sides for the lining pieces. All right, so the lining is now sewn together with those side panels. Looks pretty good. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna sew our main exterior to our side exterior pockets, and we want to make sure that our D-ring tabs, triangle, rectangle, whatever it is you're using here is out of the way. So we don't want to hit a rivet, we don't want to hit any hardware at all, so that needs to be out of the way. All right, so we're going to be connecting this the same way that we did with our lining. We're going to be making a snip the same way that we did with our lining right in here, just a small, just into the seam allowance, right, just a smidgen before you get to that indentation there. Okay, and then we're going to sew and stop right before that indentation. We're not going to go any further than that. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to pinch this together just like I did the other one. Now this is probably a little bit more challenging because there's more here on the exterior part, hardware and everything like that. So just take your time and clip along the edge. All right, so the exterior is now clipped to our exterior side panels. It was better to just tuck the pocket inside. It was a lot easier to clip this together. So let's go to the machine and let's go ahead and sew this together at the seam allowance given in the pattern. And remember those little snips that you created on each indentation, you don't want to sew past that, okay? All right, let's go get this done. We're almost done. All right, that is all sewn together. So now what we're gonna do is we are going to keep our exterior right side together, the lining right side together, and we're gonna push the portion of the sides of the main lining up to meet the bottom edge here. Okay, we're just gonna do this. Okay, we're pulling this together, and then we are going to clip these edges. This is why that little indentation that we did is important. And then you can choose to layer seams butterfly, or you can turn them to one side. It doesn't matter. Just make sure that whatever you do on this side, you do on you do the same thing on the other side. That looks pretty good. So we're going to do this for the other side of the lining, and then we'll do the same thing on the exterior. We'll sew the bottom together, and then we're going to trim off the corners at an angle like we have been doing throughout this pattern, and then we're going to turn it right side out. So we're almost done, almost done. Okay, so obviously I finished sewing everything together, and I turned the bag around, and that's really cute. Let me put this, okay. Oh my gosh, you guys, I turned it around. It looks really cute. Mistakes were made on this. It is not perfect, but I think it is really super cute. I think I messed up somewhere with these because I feel like they should be going in, so, but that's okay. This is for me, so it's not a big of a deal. Or maybe it's supposed to go that way. I'm looking at the photos and yeah, I don't know. It's fine though, but I love it. I think it looks really cute. The only thing we need to do now is close our pocket if you're happy with everything. Also, I had to go through the pocket to make sure you poke out all your corners up here on all sides, okay? But other than that, I think it looks great. It is beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and close up this pocket, and then we just need to work on the backpack straps, and that's it. So this is already folded down for you. All you have to do is clip it and then sew it closed. You can put a woven label here if you would like. All in all, this is a really great pattern. Like I said, I made some mistakes. This pattern is currently under testing, so if there are there may be updates. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's go ahead and close up our pocket, and then we'll work on our backpack straps. Okay, so I went ahead and threaded one strap. I wanted to make sure that I did it correctly. All right, so make sure that the strap is, I'm gonna try to do this from upside down so that you guys can see it. All right, so make sure your strap is straight, okay? We're going to take our adjuster and we're going to slide it through the top, over the bar, and out on the back end of this, okay? And pull it. Make sure the adjuster is right side up, not like this, okay? So it should look like this, okay? Now we are going to make sure it's straight, and we're going to slide this webbing from outside in to this rectangle ring, okay? So coming from this side through, okay? Making sure it's still, everything is straight, it's fine, okay? All right. I feel like it's getting tangled somehow. Hold on. I tangled it. Okay, let me try that again. From outside to inside. There we go. It's so easy to get it tangled. Okay, this is what we have right now. Okay, don't worry about this strap. So we've got it through the adjuster, okay, going outside to inside of the rectangle ring. Now we're going to take this end right here. You want to bring out some of this webbing out of the adjuster so that there is space, okay, to go up the top. So on this side, the back, and you're going to bring it up and bring it over the bar, okay? Pull it down, okay? In the pattern, there is a backpack strap guide that you can use. I did not cut that out, I guess. So I'm just gonna do my own little thing here. I'm gonna fold it about an inch, and then I'm gonna fold it again about an inch. So it's double folded. And then I am going to pull this a little tight right here so that it will wrap around. Let me bring this up a little bit more. We want this to be close to the bar, right up here, okay? So I have it double folded like so, okay? To connect it on this side, not the other side. Jessica is tired, sorry. All right, let's go ahead and do that correctly. So we're going to connect it to the strap that went through the bar the second time, not the first time, okay? Because we need to be able to move this. So bigger, smaller, okay? And that's it. All we need to do is sew that down, add rivets, and then we're all done with it. I have these on here for a strap if I would like to add a strap. I do like the idea for the sanitizer idea. I think that's really cool. I never thought of that before, but I think it looks great. It's really cute. I love the flap and the cute little pockets on the side. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you could, please consider subscribing to my channel and liking this video. I greatly appreciate it. It does help my channel, and also it helps viewers see the video. So again, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next one.